This is Brandon Telg. He's in his second year of grad school at the University of Florida. He seems like your typical student, and he loves hearing stories. His story, however, is one of the busiest narratives you could imagine. Brandon is the type of guy who probably needs his coffee throughout the day, and he says his busy life kicked off with one college assignment.
I did a project where I sat at Turlington Plaza with a sign that said, "Tell me your story and I'll give you $1." What I heard when just complete strangers came up and shared their stories was life-changing, really. I heard stories of love and loss and death and growing up homeless.
These stories inspired Brandon. He determined everyone had a story, stories all worthy of being told.
I realized that there is a need for a safe space for people to share their stories. We have all these platforms for storytelling currently, but we're not really using them for those purposes. So I've looked for as many different ways to create those safe environments for interpersonal storytelling as I could, as I could think of. And over the last couple of years, we've created a website where people can share their stories.
That website is selfnarrate.com, and it's exactly what Brandon says it is, a safe space for any person to share their stories in an attempt to help all others. The site even holds monthly storytelling groups. Brandon says he believes hearing stories can help people grow. His own story, however, is not yet on the website, but it shouldn't be rolled out either.
A mundane day to me is waking up in the morning at 6 in the morning, getting my daughter ready for school, taking her to school, coming to work, going to classes, going home, picking her up from school, playing with her for a couple of hours, and then working on homework and my own personal passion, which is self-narrate, until I go to sleep and do it again the next day.
In his undergraduate years, Brandon studied theater, something he expected to do for the rest of his life. But when he learned he was going to be a father his senior year, he determined that dream and his job at McDonald's at the time was not going to cut it. Brandon is now a 25-year-old single-father grad student in the middle of launching a company. He's now studying leadership, but he has naturally picked up talents of journalism and entrepreneurship to make his company launch. But he didn't always see his life so positively.
It's easy to get overwhelmed. It's easy to look at the pile of things that you have to do and just put your feet in the sand and say, I can't even think about it. I'm just going to give up. But for me, I was actually at that point before self-narrate came my way. I was almost willing to give up on grad school. I questioned whether or not what I was doing was worth the stress, was worth the lack of a social life, was worth using those couple of awake hours that I have each night when my daughter's asleep to do something that is going to enhance my life rather than just like sit on the couch and watch TV.
But now, Self-Narrate has taken off, and Brandon says he's working on eventually making it into an LLC. The website is his passion, a passion that he says he touches up on multiple times a day. But Brandon's overall message is to hear and tell the stories of everyone. Because to Brandon, everyone is important, and the events that happen to them are important, and recording their stories to be kept forever are important.
Not to get morbid, but we all die one day. And these stories, whoever doesn't get to hear the stories, from someone's own mouth, if someone's not out there documenting, then these stories are going to be lost.
I'm James Torres, WUFT News.